Hello friends, this is Nirmal here for Technique, and in this video we're going to do the detailed and full review of the Nubia M2 Lite. So Nubia M2 Lite is a mid-range smartphone which is priced below the 15,000 price segment in India. The device is priced 13,999, available exclusively on Amazon. So we already done the unboxing, the hands-on with this device. We have done the gaming test, also the camera test, and now we'll do the final and in-depth review and see how good the device is for the price segment. So 14K price segment, there are lots of good devices, be it the Redmi Note 4, the Honor 6X, Moto G5 Plus, and also the Coolpad Cool1. All of the devices are really great value for money devices, and in this segment, the Nubia M2 is competing at the price segment of 14K. So without further delay, let's get started. First up, let's have a look at the specifications. So here you can see that the Nubia M2 Lite comes with a 5.5-inch HD display. It's powered by the MediaTek MT6750 octa-core chipset coupled with 4 gigs of RAM and 32 gigs of storage. It has a 13 megapixel rear camera, LED flash, and a front-facing 16 megapixel camera along with a soft flash. It has a 3000 mAh battery and it runs on Nubia UI with Android 6.0. So that is the spec aspect of the Nubia M2 Lite. Now let's go into the detailed aspects. So first up, let's have a look at the design and build quality. So design wise, you can see the Nubia M2 Lite, it is a solid looking device. You can see the chamfered edges which are finished in gold. The other edges are finished in black. It's a matte black finish, and the build quality looks really great, and one of the best devices with great build quality in this price segment. You can see the fit and finish and the overall build quality looks really great. You can also see there is a red ring around the camera unit, and the same ring is also available on the home and fingerprint scanner. There are two buttons on either side of the home button for back and multitasking, and they are backlit. And you can also see the right side houses the SIM tray and the power key, and the left side has this volume rocker keys, and at the bottom you can see the USB charging slot along with the speaker unit and the 3.5mm audio jack. The top panel does not have any openings or slots. So that is the design aspect of the Nubia M2 Lite. So all in all, it's a well-built phone, solid device. If you're looking for great build quality, fit and finish, and a sturdy build, then the Nubia M2 Lite is the perfect device to buy. It actually feels great in hands with the black and gold finishing. Now next up, let's talk about the display. So on the front panel we have this 5.5-inch HD display. It's an HD display. It's a 720p display. In this price segment, most devices have moved to full HD displays. Even the Honor 6X, the Moto G5 Plus, the Coolpad Cool1, the Redmi Note 4. All the devices in this price segment have full HD displays, but here we have a Nubia M2 Lite with an HD display. But first time when we looked at the display, we felt disappointed because at this price segment it should have been in a full HD panel and not an HD panel. But over a period of time, you can see that we have used the device for almost 2 to 2.5 weeks. Now you can see that the device feels quite good in terms of the display performance. We are kind of surprised with the display performance. Even though it's an HD panel, you can see the colors are really vivid, colorful, and the viewing angles are also really good. The touch response also feels quite good. Even though it's an HD panel, it's a really good panel. That's one good thing we liked about this device. So the display panel definitely looks quite good. But then again, as I said before, it should have been a full HD panel. That would have been made this device much better than providing an HD panel. Now next up, let's talk about the software. So we have reviewed the Nubia Z11 Mini ES, and we found the Nubia UI to be a customized UI, and here again the Nubia UI is provided on top of Android 6.0, and you can see it comes with multiple home screens devoid of an app drawer. And if you go to the settings, you can see some additional options. You can see some edge gestures are supported. These are some edge gestures which are pretty useful. Hold the edge and swipe inwards, swipe up and down from the edge, swipe repeatedly from the edge. So these are the edge gestures which are supported on this device. So this do add some additional options to the UI. Other than that, it's a pretty simple UI, but it's a customized settings panel, and there are some additional features also included. Smart sensing, dual instance, dual app support is there, screen split up is included, custom bottom key is included, which means you can have the bottom key for multitasking and back that can be configured. So you can see two lights here, back and multitasking, and this also acts as the notification light. So that's some really innovative feature available on this device. Now talking about the other aspects of the UI, you can see it's a customized notification and quick toggle area, and you can do some basic customization. Unlike the MIUI or the EMUI, there aren't any support for themes, but it does come with some tools like flashlight, sound recorder, and a calculator included. And there is also support for dual apps. That means you can run two instances of WhatsApp, Facebook, etc. So that option is also included in this UI. So it's a fairly feature rich UI. It's not as feature rich as a MIUI or EMUI, but it does provide some decent options. But the disappointing aspect is that it runs on Android 6.0 and there is no Android 7.0 for this device. Now let's talk about the performance. So this phone is powered by a MediaTek MT6750 chipset. It's an octa-core chipset. It is coupled with 4 gigs of RAM and 32 gigs of storage. So when we tested this device, the first impression that came to our mind was the MT6750 is not a really great chipset in this price segment. We have mentioned this in our review of the Vivo V5 and the V5s, and even the Oppo F1, F3. We mentioned that the 6750 is not a mid-range chipset. It's an entry level or budget chipset. And when we tested this device, we had this in mind that it won't be a great performing chipset, but the optimization done by Nubia in this device is pretty good, and the gaming performance of the device was kind of surprising. It played pretty well. It was pretty smooth even with the MediaTek MT6750 chipset. The 4GB RAM helped in achieving better gaming results, and overall the gaming performance was quite good even though it was not a really powerful chipset. And the day-to-day performance, we didn't see any major lags or issues, but when you push it harder for heavy multitasking, you could see some slight lag here and there, but not of a major concern. Overall the performance was quite satisfactory on the Nubia M2 Lite. Now this phone comes with dual SIM cards and 4G LTE. There is also support for VoLTE, and you can also expand the storage, and this comes with 32GB storage. Now talking about the fingerprint scanner. So the fingerprint scanner is located on the front panel, and the fingerprint scanner is quite responsive, although at times it can be a bit laggy, but most of the time it was really responsive and did the unlock in a really good time. You can see it unlocks the device in really good time. So you can see here and there one or two misses did happen on the fingerprint sensor, but not of a major concern. So that is the fingerprint scanner on the Nubia M2 Lite. Now talking about the camera. So the phone which we reviewed previously from Nubia was the Z11 Mini S, which had a really great camera, the 23 megapixel camera, and here we have a 13 megapixel camera with f-stop 2.2 aperture, face detection autofocus and LED flash, and on the front panel we have a 16 megapixel selfie camera with f-stop 2.0, and there is also a soft flash and also screen flash included. Now looking at the camera interface, we already done a detailed review of the camera and found this camera to be a quite satisfactory experience. It's not a class leading camera. We have a lot of additional options and tools included. Pro mode is there, video recording is at 1080p, then filters are included. So kind of useful UI. But now talking about the camera samples taken with this device, that's where the Nubia Z M2 Lite was not really up to the mark of the Nubia Z11 Mini S, which is slightly priced higher. But then we expected this camera to be a really great one, but it is not the case. And while the daylight samples were quite good, the low light experience was not that great, and it did have some noise in the low light experience. So that's one area where we feel the Nubia could have slightly done better, especially when they have really good camera algorithm. So the Nubia M2 Lite is definitely a decent camera. It's not a really class leading. We could easily say that the Honor 6X, the Moto G5 Plus and Coolpad Cool1 have better cameras than the Nubia M2 Lite. Now the selfie camera is definitely good. It has a 16 megapixel shooter with f-stop 2.0 aperture, and the selfie camera worked quite well. So that's one good thing about this device. So now let's talk about the battery performance. So it has a 3000 mAh battery, and there is no fast charging included, and the 3000 mAh battery was kind of okay performance on this device. It was not really class leading, but it was not even bad either. It did perform in average manner, and you can easily get through 1 day of usage with this device, but not more than that with the 3000 mAh battery. So battery performance, you would say it's quite satisfactory, but definitely not class leading. Now summing up. So this phone is priced 13,999. That's 14K in India, available on Amazon. So how good is the Nubia M2 Lite for this price segment? So we'll highlight some of the really good aspects about this device. It has a really great design and build quality, superior build, a top-notch fit and finish. So that's one really good thing about this device. The Nubia UI offers some decent options. The display quality definitely looks quite decent. Although it's a HD panel, it definitely looks a punchy display. Then we also have a decent selfie camera, although the rear camera could have been better. Now the disappointing aspects about the Nubia M2 Lite is slightly priced higher. Again, the display should have been full HD. The rear camera performance was not satisfactory. There is no fast charging included, and also it is Android 6.0. So those were the pros and cons of the Nubia M2 Lite. So should you buy this device? We wouldn't say it's a really great device to buy, especially with Honor 6X and the Moto G5 Plus and also the Redmi Note 4 offering great value for money package. But if you're more of a selfie focused and you want a great selfie focused smartphone below the 15K price segment, then the Nubia M2 Lite makes perfect sense because it's one of the selfie focused smartphones which is available below 15K. So that was the detailed review of the Nubia M2 Lite. Hope you like this video. If you plan to buy this device, we'll share the link in the description of this video. You can use our link and buy this device. So thanks for watching. Hope to see you in our next video. Have a great day.